On a cold November night in 2022, the quiet college town of Moscow felt like it always did on a Saturday. Students from University of Idaho filled the sidewalks. Music drifted from off-campus houses. It was a football weekend, a normal weekend. By sunrise, 4 students would be dead. Their names were Kaylee Gonsalves, Madison Mogan, Xana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin. And what happened inside their rental home at 1122 King Road would become one of the most chilling and closely followed criminal cases in recent years. The house itself didn't look threatening. It was a 3-story rental on a small hill. String lights, social gatherings, roommates coming and going. 6 young women lived there. Friends described it as lively, warm, full of laughter. It wasn't isolated. Other houses surrounded it. From the back, the sliding glass door opened onto a wooded slope. From the front, the street curved gently upward. Nothing about it suggested violence. And yet, sometime between 4 o'clock and 4:25 a.m. on November 13th, everything inside changed. Kaylee and Madison had spent the evening together downtown. They were seen at a local bar, then at a food truck just after 1:40 a.m. Surveillance footage showed them laughing, standing close, appearing relaxed. Xana and Ethan had attended a fraternity party earlier that night. They returned home around 1:45 a.m. By 2 a.m., all 4 victims were back inside the King Road house. Phone activity showed calls and messages. One of the victims had ordered food delivery shortly before 4 a.m. There were signs of normal life continuing. Then, according to investigators, a white sedan was seen circling the area multiple times. The vehicle, later identified as a white Hyundai Elantra, made several passes near the home before parking or stopping nearby shortly after 4 a.m. That detail would later become crucial. Investigators believe the suspect entered through the sliding glass door on the second floor. Inside, most of the house was dark. 2 surviving roommates were asleep on the first floor. Upstairs, Kaylee and Madison were together in a 3rd-floor bedroom. What happened next was fast, brutal, silent. Court documents allege that the attacker used a fixed-blade knife. A knife sheath was later found near one of the victims, a detail that would become central to the case. Downstairs, Xana was awake. She had received her food delivery shortly before 4 a.m. Digital evidence suggests she may have been on TikTok minutes before the attack. One surviving roommate later told police she heard crying. She opened her door and saw a masked man dressed in black walking past her toward the sliding glass door. She described him as having bushy eyebrows. He walked out, and the house fell quiet again. Hours passed. Just before noon on November 13th, a 911 call was placed from inside the house. Initially, the call reported an unconscious person. When officers entered, they discovered a scene so disturbing that details were withheld from the public for weeks. 4 students, multiple stab wounds, no sign of forced entry. The small town of Moscow was shaken. Parents began pulling their children from campus. Students installed extra locks. Gun shops reported increased sales. Fear spread quickly because there was no suspect. Local police were soon joined by Idaho State Police and the FBI. More than 19,000 tips came in. For weeks, there were no arrests. Then, investigators announced they were searching for a white Hyundai Elantra seen near the crime scene around the time of the murders. That announcement was strategic. Behind the scenes, law enforcement had already begun tracing vehicle registrations across multiple states. One name surfaced: Brian Kohberger, a 28-year-old PhD criminology student at Washington State University, located just 10 miles away in Pullman, Washington. According to the probable cause affidavit, DNA found on the knife sheath allegedly matched Kohberger. His phone records placed him near the King Road house at least 12 times before the murders. His phone stopped reporting to the network during the critical window between approximately 2:47 a.m. and 4:48 a.m. Surveillance cameras captured a white Hyundai Elantra consistent with his vehicle. Investigators also allege that after the murders, his phone pinged near the victim's home again around 9 a.m. On December 30th, 2022, Kohberger was arrested at his parents' home in Pennsylvania, following cross-country travel. Authorities said they had been quietly surveilling him for days. When he was taken into custody, reports indicated he asked law enforcement whether anyone else had been arrested. The statement, while widely reported, has not been presented in full context in court. He was extradited to Idaho and charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of burglary. He has pleaded not guilty. If convicted, he could face the death penalty. Even with an arrest, the case left people unsettled. There was no clear connection publicly established between the suspect and the victims. No confirmed motive has been officially announced. Why that house? Why those 4 individuals? Was one the intended target, or all of them? Investigators have remained tight-lipped about certain details, likely to preserve the integrity of the trial. The defense has challenged the reliability of DNA evidence and questioned aspects of digital tracking. The legal battle ahead is expected to focus heavily on forensic interpretation and procedural fairness. In December 2023, the King Road house was demolished, not as an act of forgetting, but to prevent it from becoming a site of obsession. The families supported the decision, because beyond the evidence, beyond the headlines, there were 4 young people whose lives ended violently. Kaylee was weeks away from graduating. Madison dreamed of marketing and travel. Xana was known for her energy and kindness. Ethan was a triplet, a brother, a son. They were more than a case. This wasn't a crime from decades ago. It unfolded in real time, in the age of TikTok, Reddit theories, live-streamed court hearings. Every motion became trending news. Every rumor spread within minutes. And yet, the core of the story remains painfully simple. 4 students came home after a normal Saturday night. Someone entered their house, and by morning, they were gone. The trial has faced delays as legal teams review massive volumes of digital evidence. Experts expect debates over touch DNA transfer, cell tower triangulation accuracy, surveillance video interpretation, pretrial publicity impact. Until a jury reaches a verdict, the presumption of innocence remains. But for the families, justice is measured differently, not in legal arguments, but in remembrance. This documentary was created using verified court documents, official police affidavits, and reputable reporting. No fictional elements were added. The case remains ongoing, and all individuals are presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Thank you for watching.